Hello choral arranging students. I hope you are doing well, and I hope that things are going fine for you as you sit down to watch this lecture. This is the first lecture since spring break for choral arranging for March 23rd, 2020. And before I get started with the actual lecture, I would like to remind you of a few things and let you know a few things. First of all, I will try to put this on Canvas to remind you, but I do need you to either scan or take a picture of your completed assignment 4, which is due right after spring break, and see if you can upload that to Canvas so that I can retrieve it or get a hold of it, and that I can then grade it. So if you can do that either right after this lecture or sometime the same day that you watch this lecture, that would be terrific. The other thing is that I have your projects, your first choral arranging project, graded. However, I am still thinking about and deciding on the best way to return your projects to you so that you can get some feedback for those. So stay tuned, and hopefully within a week or so I'll have a viable alternative for giving you back your graded projects. So today I'd like to talk to you about improving the voice leading of your choral arranging projects, a little bit in the vocal parts, but mostly the majority of my lecture will be talking about improving the voice leading in the piano accompaniment. Okay. Part of the purpose of this lecture and spending time on this is to give you a way to avoid writing overly conspicuous parallel octaves and fifths in your arrangements, okay, both in the vocal parts and in the piano accompaniment. And also to control your musical writing a little more expertly. And so when I grade arranging projects, I don't specifically search for poor voice leading, such as parallel octaves and parallel fifths. It is just easy to spot parallel octaves and parallel fifths when they are obvious or when they are fairly conspicuous. Okay. First thing I do want to mention is that in future projects I would like you to avoid having all the voice parts sing in a monophonic texture unless you intentionally want them to do so. For instance, if you are intending and you are purposely trying to write a monophonic texture among the voices, that is fine. But if I see a few beats or measures worth of monophonic texture in an otherwise different texture, that raises red flags in my mind. So avoid the monophonic texture again unless you're using it on purpose for a particular phrase or maybe for several phrases. Now, regarding the piano accompaniment, I'm going to have all of you for the next arranging project use an arpeggiated or a rhythmic pattern style throughout.